He won his debut race at the tender age of 8, failed his driving test at 17 and was world champion at 29. Jenson Button was no overnight sensation, but his talent was obvious from the start, and his ultimate success was a result of his endless determination, dogged commitment, and pure racing skill. The son of rallycross driver John Button, the young Jenson had racing in his blood. He was given a 60cc go-kart for Christmas just before his 8th birthday. He won on his first competitive outing. A seat in the British Formula 3 Championship was rewarded with several victories and an opportunity to test drive for Alain Prost's F1 team. Lapping faster than Prost's regular driver, Jean Alesi, his performance caught the eye of Frank Williams. And on January 24, 2000, he was announced as a Williams driver for the coming season. Partnering Ralf Schumacher, Button scored a first points finish in just his second Grand Prix, finishing a magnificent 6th in Brazil, at the time the youngest driver to score a point in F1 history. A sensational qualifying run at Spa-Francorchamps saw him nab P3. Across the line in 5th in Belgium, a similar result in Japan meant he finished the year in 8th spot in the Drivers' Championship. However, his impressive performances were not quite enough for him to retain his seat at Williams. And when the team signed IndyCar star Juan Pablo Montoya, Button was loaned to Benetton. He endured a difficult 2001 as the car ran at the back, with just a single points finish to his name, P5 at Hockenheim. In his second season with the team, now branded as Renault, he fared a little better. 4th place finishes in Malaysia and Brazil, and 5th spots at Imola and the Nürburgring meant he ended the year in 7th place. However, Button was soon heading for his 3rd team in as many years, with Renault seeing more promise in their reserve driver, one Fernando Alonso. Signing for BAR Honda in 2003 alongside the 1997 world champion Jacques Villeneuve, Jenson proceeded to outshine his more experienced teammate. But it was 2004 that proved to be the real turning point for Button. In a season of firsts, he broke his podium duck in round 2 at Sepang and claimed his maiden pole position at Imola. But his year is perhaps best remembered for a battle with Alonso at Hockenheim.
Keep your foot in it, Jenson.
After a quick splash and dash, Button was back after the Spaniard, but found his helmet strap had loosened and was choking him on the high-speed straights. Yet despite the incredible discomfort, he managed to find a way past.
Here he goes, he's going for it. Button is into second place. An absolutely momentous second place here this afternoon.
His star was ascending again, but his next move surprised the paddock and proved extremely contentious. A revitalised Button opted to re-sign for Williams for the 2005 season, but BAR objected, believing they still had an option on the driver. Some complicated legal wrangling followed, and eventually the Contract Recognitions Board decreed that he should remain with BAR for another year. But 2005's car couldn't match the heights of the previous year, with Button managing just 2 podiums in Germany and Belgium. The fallout from the contract dispute had lingered, but after Honda bought out BAR and took over the team, Button had a change of heart, buying out his Williams contract for 2006 in the knowledge that the Grove outfit were losing BMW as their engine supplier. His loyalty to the team was a decision that would lead, ultimately, to his greatest triumph. But over the next 3 seasons, it looked the wrong move. 2006 started out well enough. 4th in the Bahrain opener and a podium in Malaysia followed. But a run of poor form saw his challenge wither. He did, however, finally break another duck and claim a Grand Prix victory. But he went about it the hard way. Having qualified 4th in Hungary, an engine switch led to a subsequent 10-place grid penalty. At an unseasonably wet Hungaroring, Button's smooth style coupled with some slick passes soon saw him up into the points. He even got one over the Rainmeister himself.
Jenson Button has passed Michael Schumacher's Ferrari.
Chasing race leader Fernando Alonso for the win, a technical failure saw the Renault driver slide into the tyre wall.
In his 113th Grand Prix start, he's proved the critics wrong. He's done it! Jenson Button wins the Hungarian Grand Prix! Get in there!
Wow, what a day. It's been amazing. It's nice to see that we've got a car that can win races, and it's taking so many years to get here, but we're finally here.
– 2007 proved another disappointing year. Button's best finish was 5th in Shanghai. 15th in the standings come season's end, it was even worse in 2008. Button was in the points just once, P6 in Spain. However, fortune sometimes comes from unlikely sources. The 2008 global financial crisis saw many companies re-evaluating their priorities, and Honda were not immune. In a shock announcement, they informed the paddock that they'd be withdrawing from Formula One at the end of the season. With the Brackley-based team's future in serious doubt, Button agreed a pay cut as the management, led by team principal Ross Brawn, scrambled to find investment to keep the outfit going. Sporting the infamous and innovative double diffuser, Button led the team's phoenix-like rise to the top, beginning at the season opener in Melbourne, where he led every lap as he and teammate Rubens Barrichello came home 1-2 for a famous triumph. The first of 6 victories for the Briton in his greatest season.
He's done it again! Jenson Button coming through now for Brawn Grand Prix!
Monaco, baby, yeah!
And here he comes for another checkered flag!
You have built me a monster in the car.
In Brazil, he delivered an overtaking masterclass to finish 5th.
Let's go, let's go!
Securing the Constructors' title for Brawn, and finally, the driver's crown for himself.
We are the champions, my friends! We are world champions! World champions! Woo!
I crossed the finish line and saw the guys, and they deserve this so much, and they're all so emotional down there. They're all probably quite drunk by now. To win the World Championship in 2009 is an exceptional feeling, and one that I will never forget. But at the moment, I'm not thinking about how I'm going to feel tomorrow. I know I'm going to feel pretty crappy tomorrow, actually. But today, I'm just going to go and enjoy myself with the people that made this happen.
Brawn GP became Mercedes in 2010, but Button had other plans. He signed for McLaren. Two world champions working in Woking? What could possibly go wrong? Very little, as it happened. Button and Hamilton were fairly evenly matched in their maiden season together at McLaren. But first blood went to the Froome Flyer at a rain-affected Australian Grand Prix.
Jenson Button makes it another Australian Grand Prix victory!
Oh, that feels so good!
Similar changing conditions in Shanghai saw Button win his second Grand Prix in 3 races and briefly lead the Drivers' Championship. Button was still in contention to retain his title until the penultimate race in Sao Paulo, where a P5 finish saw him mathematically eliminated. 2011 saw a switch in fortunes for the two Britons, as Button outperformed Hamilton and came closest to runaway leader Vettel. On the podium more often than not, he scored 3 Grand Prix victories that season, including what was probably the greatest drive of his career. Sitting P4 as Formula One's longest ever race entered its final minutes, he had Mark Webber, Michael Schumacher and leader Sebastian Vettel ahead.
Oh, he's nearly lost it. Button sails past him. Schumacher's looking in his mirror. Button goes the long way round. Button up into second place.
We can't win this race, Jenson.
Button driving for his life, driving for the victory. He's got late. He turned in too late. Button leads the Grand Prix. It's a sensational drive for Button.
Absolutely brilliant, Jenson.
Guys, that was a hell of a race. Oh, still a long time coming.
Hamilton and Button's friendly rivalry continued in 2012, with Jenson winning the first and last races of the season, plus a superb victory at Spa.
It's the Belgian Grand Prix for Jenson Button.
However, McLaren were outpaced all season by Vettel and Alonso, and even the Lotus of Kimi Räikkönen. Hamilton's move to Mercedes in 2013 saw Button partnered with Sergio Perez. But the new MP428 was uncompetitive, and the Anglo-Mexican pairing failed to score a single podium all year. It was the beginning of a decline in the fortunes of the once all-powerful McLaren team. A double podium for Button and new teammate Kevin Magnussen at the 2014 season opener in Australia proved a false dawn, as throughout the year both drivers put in point-scoring performances but rarely troubled the leaders. 2015, now partnered with the returning Alonso, saw McLaren's hotly anticipated new turbocharged Honda engine fail to deliver. The team slipped to a lowly 9th place in the Constructors' Championship with just 27 points to their name, and 2016 saw more retirements and fruitless finishes. Button's high point was at the United States Grand Prix, where his silky overtaking style of old was on display, making up 8 places on the opening lap in Austin. 15th in the driver's standings at the end of the year, Button decided it was time to call it a day. His actual swan song came a few months later, at the 2017 Monaco Grand Prix, replacing Alonso, the Spaniard absent whilst preparing an assault on the Indy 500. Sadly, he collided with Pascal Wehrlein's Sauber after 57 laps, finally bringing down the curtain on an epic Formula One career. He drove in Super GT, winning the championship in 2018 before working as a TV pundit, and eventually coming full circle and re-signing for Williams in 2021 as a senior advisor to new team owners Doralton Capital. This rookie has delivered many memorable moments, but even having reached the ultimate height in his illustrious racing career, it seems the 2009 world champion isn't quite done with Formula One.